Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Odd Tandem. Today, we have quite the guest. I must admit, I'm very partial to this sort of rider. He's an amazing time trialist. We have the Olympics in Paris right around the corner. So we were able to get a hold of him up in Andorra, where he's putting the final touches on his Olympic preparation. Jensi, who was our guest today?
Our guest is the reigning European TT champion, Josh Tarling, an absolute talent, only 20 years old, and most impressive, please stay tuned, the size of the chain ring he's planning to use at the Olympics. Just alone for that, it's worth listening to us.
And his taste in music. So sit back and relax and listen to another great episode today with Josh Tarling. All right, here we go. On the Odd Tandem today, we have Josh Tarling. Josh, how you doing, man?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good.
You know, doing a little bit of research on you,
That's bad.
I realized
That's bad.
I realized that you are quite a bit younger than us. Jens and I are about to turn 35. You're like 20.
53, Bobby, not 35. 53 we turn.
Did I say 35?
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's
Right,
the
exactly.
vibe that I'm going for here. So
Yeah.
just to kind of put this into perspective, I kind of want to break the ice a little bit to kind of get to know you because I've seen you on
Yeah.
TV. So just a couple real short fire questions to let me know where you stack so we can, adjust our age to fit yours, because we want to be one of the cool kids too.
Of course, mate.
Okay, so here we go. Your favorite genre of music?
Oh, like Eminem and 50 Cent and them ones, mate. Can't lie. They're
Okay.
good for the warm-ups.
Okay, you pass. Okay, favorite off-season cheat food?
Good burger or something chocolatey.
Ooh, he got both of our favorites there, Yenzi. Okay, other than cycling, your favorite sport to watch on TV?
MotoGP.
Okay, that's Yenzi's one of Yenzi's good.
Oh,
Okay, this is a good one. What word would you describe something that is good in your
Thick.
vernacular?
thick.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now I'm just calibrated now. So now I'm
Uh,
ready. Now I'm ready to ask my real questions. Jensi, you adjusted down a little bit in age. Like we're good to go.
I try to follow up. I try to think like my teenage kids now.
All right. That was just kind of now we know where we stand. So Josh, where are you coming to us from right now? Where are you at?
I'm in Puigcerdà. I don't know how to say it exactly. Just outside Andorra in a training camp for the Olympics.
So we talking altitude training, right? And as far as
it-
I know, is there a bike track or it's all on the road you're training for now?
It's all on the road. All on the road. It's not actually. It's not too high altitude. I think it's 1,100 here. It's not really. It's more. There's good roads for the TT bike here. Long, straight drags. So it's more intensity rather than altitude.
Nice, nice. And where are you actually based during the season? Where do you live?
Andorra. Andorra. So
Also
just
in
down the
Andorra.
road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's get into it, man. How is the preparations for Olympics going? I mean, you're 20 years old. You're headed to your first Olympics. I went to my first Olympics when I was 32. You're 20, so you're going to be doing this for quite a while. Yeah, how's it going?
I think it's going good, mate. I think yeah, we're ticking along. I have like a nice big block now, so I've ridden the TT bike too much. Everything's sore. Everything's tight. I think we're getting faster, so getting there.
So when you say you're ridden your TT bike, your position is dialed in, or is there anything you go, we could make this a little quicker, or we can do a little twist or turn here, or you go, nope, just perfect, don't touch it anymore.
I think right now it's all sorted, so I wanted to get it all done before this block, and then I could like ride that same position because we changed it. We changed it before the Dauphiné, and I didn't even get to ride the bike apart from the recon before it on that position. And then it was again the same for the nationals after that. So I was like, right, this block, we'll get it exactly how we want it, and then we don't change until after.
What exactly did you change?
Um, it's quite a lot further forward. So we worked out that because I'm quite tall, this part of my arm is quite long, and you can see kind of how Remco he's got quite a short here, and it helps him be lower. And even if my head's really low or whatever, this bit is still quite tall. So we've made it shorter, and I have to lean forward, and then this part of my arm is usually or it should be at more than 90 to the base bar, and then we found that like that kind of closes everything. And also, if you lean forward, it kind of brings your shoulders in as well.
Well, it does sound fast but uncomfortable. How long do you think can you sit in that position, my friend?
It's not nice. It's not. I'm trying. But I think how long's it's going to be? What, 35 minutes maybe? The TT. So I'm hoping that long.
Jeez, yeah. As soon as you said that you were, at above 90 degrees, that
Yeah.
puts a lot of strain on your upper body. So now we know why you're sore. You're probably having to get more massage on your upper body than your lower body after stuff like that. But now that you mention it, you being what, 194, 1.94 meters tall, which for here in the US is 6'4", you're trying to emulate a guy that's much, much smaller than you. So were you in the wind tunnel, to kind of find these little gains, or like what motivated you to kind of change that position to emulate the world champion Remco Evenepoel?
Yeah, I think I keep losing to him, so I had to try and do something. So before the Dauphiné, yeah, we I've been in the tunnel 3 or 4 times now, and there's obviously like kit wise working out because I guess with the Olympics you don't have to ride team stuff, and GB themselves have a range of different suits we could have worn. So it was a lot of testing all of them, and then yeah, so one was on that. Then there was positional stuff because I guess it's free, isn't it? If you gain, I don't know, 2-3% in the tunnel in a day, to get that in training is a long kind of process. So I think we've got to a really good place now. Yeah.
So I guess we all three, we agree that no matter how aero you go, you will need to push more watts than Remco because he's just lower and smaller.
Yeah.
Would you have an idea, or would you be able to share that information? You think you need to push 100 watts more than Remco, or 50 watts, 25 watts, or 200 watts?
Or I don't know. I don't know roughly what he's gonna want to do, because he's punchy. I don't have my pacing plan either yet, but I'd like to kind of 460, 470 is what I would like. He's quite a bit lighter than me, so I'm hoping it's enough what I can get over him. But yeah, I reckon I'll probably need 100 because he's more aero and he's skinnier than me. Eh?
So this is a question. So if that's, say, your FTP, your threshold, whatever you want to call it these days, because it's basically all the same. But if that's kind of like what you set your training zones around, I used to work with Team Sky back in the day, and we would test these guys on the climbs, and we would test them on the time trial bike. And I only saw 2 riders pretty much my whole coaching career that were able to basically have the same wattage on the road bike going uphill compared to the time trial bike on the flats. So are you in that range? Is if 470 is your, FTP, let's say, on your time trial bike, is it the same on your road bike or even higher?
I think I'm pretty similar. I think we did quite a bit of. I ride it a lot in Andorra on the climbs and stuff because then the position is a lot harder and a lot. You're like I don't know, chasing it more. So I think I should be equal.
Okay. You're in very good company there then, because the only two guys I saw do that was Bradley Wiggins and Chris Froome.
There
So
you go. That'll
good
be all
work
right.
on you. Good work, mate.
So now that it looks like you got the training and all that worked out, your bike, would you have roughly an idea of how much your entire setup is when you be rolling off the start ramp at the Olympics? Are we looking at 10,000 pound, 20, 30,
Ooh.
like a medium-sized car?
It's fancy, man. It's fancy.
That's why I ask. And our listeners, they for sure, they also are
Yeah,
curious
yeah,
now.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's everything's been ceramic-ified. Um, the wheels that they've got to be three, maybe four. We go for around 20, but then there's things that are quite difficult, like the skin suit is really, really cool. I don't know how. I don't know if it's available or whatever. So I'll say 20 to 25.
See, Yenzi, that's
Awesome.
exactly what I
Cool.
said before. I said it's
Yep.
probably
Yeah,
around
yeah,
25,000.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. And do you have the 3D printed handlebars as well?
I do now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
man. Cool.
Jens shared this picture with myself and our producer Mark today on our little text thread, and it was he and I doing a two-up team time trial in Buhl, Germany, after the Tour de France in 2004, before I left for the Olympics, and
Yeah,
that's what prompted me to ask that question of how much your bike setup is worth,
yeah,
because that picture, Yenzi, I'm looking at it like maybe 10 grand. Like
yeah,
our skin suits probably cost
Yep.
$150, and these guys' skin suits, especially with UK Sport, you're talking 6 to 8,000, and that's where I believe I lost the Olympics. Was my skin suit was not optimal. It was the Team USA skin suit. The guy that wound up beating me had like this special Nike one, and I wound up losing to him by 8 seconds. And it's one of those things. So, man, pay attention to all that stuff. But what is your favorite? I mean, this is geeking out because I'm a time trial guy as well. What is your favorite part of that $25,000, euro, pound setup?
Mate, wait till you see the bike. It looks so good. They've got the Olympic paint job coming out, so it looks class.
Nice.
And to be fair, when you put a good skin suit on and it feels fast. I've never haven't ridden it outside that skin suit yet, just in the tunnel. But and it's just like I don't know, you feel sick in it.
And it gives you like, an extra 2% motivation and confidence because okay, this is the best possible equipment you can have on this planet for now. So
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
now it's all in for the TT, right? Do you
yeah, all in.
ever, I mean, you're still a young kid, further down the road, do you fancy some of the classics maybe? Or you go, nah, I just want to become 10 times TT world champion?
Nah, I really enjoy racing. Like that's drives me nuts. Like watching stuff and like trying to work stuff out. And when I'm racing, I love doing all the which side of the wheel and all timings and counter attacking. And so obviously, I'm gonna try and win every TT I start. But for sure, next year we go full for the classics as well in the winter.
And, you're not the only, I mean, you're 1.94 meters tall. We've had Miguel Indurain that was a little bit shorter than you at 1.9. Bradley Wiggins was 1.88 meters tall. What do you think you need to work on? I mean, obviously you got your time trial dialed, but what other kind of training objectives do you need to focus on? I guess, like, what are your limiters right now that you want to work on over the next year or so to be ready for the classics?
Yeah, I think we worked on it a bit this year with the punch before the classics. I think the TTs that you can turn in quite easily, which is, and also for my job with like in the Dauphiné or Paris-Nice, and positioning or even climbing diesel's okay, but for the classics, once you've made that group, then it's fine. It's just that you have to have the punch to get in it. Um, so it'll be, yeah, kicking, and then I need to work on the weight as well. That'll obviously help. I think being tall is harder, isn't it? I think you have to be skinnier than some of the smaller guys just because you're heavier.
Have you ever, I mean, you're a tall man. Have you ever experienced with these very, very short cranks? This seemed to be a thing in a moment, like Pogacar is on 165s. Obviously, that would be very, very short for a man of your size. Do you experienced or tested some of that?
We haven't. I'm not using any in the Olympics, but it is something I've used on the track a lot. Obviously, you use quite short there, and I think especially with this really far forward position, there could be something in it. I think. I mean, it's different, because I'm quite tall anyway. That I don't need too short, but for sure there might be something in it, especially on the TT, right? With if you've closed your hip angle off anyway, then you got your knees hitting your chest and whatever. So there might be something in there, yeah.
So we were honored enough to have Chris Boardman on recently and asked him about time trial pacing. And to paraphrase what he said, if you're asking yourself if you can go harder, and the answer is yes, it's too late. If you ask yourself to go harder and it's no, you're really in trouble. What you want is, can I go any harder? And it has to be maybe. So you're always in that zone of basically going maximum, right? What is your mentality around a time trial, and especially the pacing part of it?
So we with the team, you do a pacing plan, and that'll be split into the section and of the course. So I'll understand that, and then but you go about it where it's like, okay, if this section is 440 watts, but the predicted speed for that section is higher, is like 54, and I'm doing 53, or I'm doing 50 and 440, and do I feel okay? Then you whack it, and then equally the other way around. If I'm going faster than the predicted, there's no way I deliberately try and go less than the predicted, but I'll stick roughly to that speed, or just the watts, and if I sit higher, I sit higher. I quite like all the like the breakdown of the course. I like all the, like in the recon, you can work out different road surfaces, and then you can relay that back to the pacing plan. So obviously the pacing plan's done either before or a long way before. So then say this section is 440 again. If the road surface is a lot rougher than I thought it was going to be, or than the speed is predicted, then we know, okay, I need to overpace this bit because it's a lot harder than we thought. And I like breaking it down in sort of, relaying the course to the pacing. In terms of like getting it out, I think I always have quite my coach is Ganna's coach, so he
Mr. Big M.
Nah, Dario Gioni.
No.
So I'm convinced he gives me Ganna's powers because they're always like it's too high. So I always I can trust that the pacing plan is basically as hard as I can go. Um, and yeah, trust that really.
So, how much influence do you have as the pilot of the bicycle into that pacing plan? I think there has to be some room for you to make the decisions, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think the model is is good, but then a lot of it comes from the recon, where okay, maybe it's predicted as headwind, but then there might be or crosswind, but then there might be loads of trees, and then it's up to me to kind of go, look, I'm holding that speed that is predicted at, so I don't need to push as hard in this section, and I can save it for the climb later on, or like I said with the road surface and that, and I mean, apart from that, if I go from the pacing plan, if I want to go above, I have to kind of wait a little bit. I can't just sit instantly above, for the first say half of the race because the pacing plans are basically supposed to be as hard as you can go. So it's risky, but then it's on field as well. Because again, you get sections of the plan, and it'll be like a wattage for that section, but then the road might be slightly going up and down, and you can take that as almost like an average for that section, so not something to sit at to kind of go, okay, if I spike 450 and then go 420 and then kind of go that, it averages out at 435, 440.
You ever afraid of overthinking and losing energy by calculating all the watts? You overspeed uphill, relax on the down. And second part of the question, how important is feedback from the car behind you that they guide you through that race?
I'm not, yeah, I think I'm not bright enough to overthink. I think I kind of do it on feel really, so it's um yeah, I don't have to think about, I need to do this, Watson, whatever. I can kind of, I think the track helps with, you kind of get the feel of the speed and the powers quite well from the track because obviously you're not allowed a Garmin. So you get just time splits and then you get the feel of what that cadence is like and you can kind of feel it on the road as well. So a lot of it comes from your arse and how fast it's feeling and yeah, yeah.
Yenzi, I'm just blown away at 20 years old. Would you have been thinking about anything like this? Or just, hey,
Nope.
put on your time trial suit, get on your time trial bike that you just put together the day before, and just let it rip, you know? And that kind of brings me, I mean, being so young and, kids coming into the sport now seem to be getting younger and younger and winning right away. I mean, you did the same thing. You did you were able to do the under 23 world championships last year, and instead you decided to do the elite and you got a medal. What about with these other young kids that don't have the resources, don't have maybe the progression of talent at your age? What advice would you give to young riders that want to be in your shoes, shoes, Tade's shoes? When they're not younger than you, like 17, 18.
I think you don't have to have nice, really nice stuff, you don't have to have, I didn't have uh Di2s or electric gears until I was pro with Ineos. It's more like you have to learn racing, and then you don't have to have that good legs if you know how to race. And you have to do that by A, racing, but B, you have to watch things, you have to listen to these podcasts and have to, just watch all the racing and then you can get a good idea, Like today with all the tour and all the positioning and stuff like that. You can watch all of that and it's crystal clear what everyone's trying to do. Everyone's trying to pick a side and there's ways that you do that and how you always leave room for your guy, and then you can also tell how the wind's going, depending on, you know, the bunch and how that's shaped and stuff like that. So you have to do all that. And I think you don't have to worry about winning, because if you think the teams have race winners, you're not going to be paid straight away to win races. You want to, but like if you know how to race and you know how to position people, the team's going to be mega impressed anyway. Because like I said, you're not going to go in and you're not going to be told, right, you win straight away, because they've got people like we've got Kwiato, Carlos, Tom, all these guys. Like I don't have to win a race. They're all like fucking really good. So yeah, I just wouldn't stress and just make sure you have to learn how to ride a bike race and then get strong with the team, rather than worrying about, training and hurting yourself and then not knowing how to race, basically.
So, since you mentioned half of your team there, they
Yeah.
are currently in the Tour de France, and we have another TT coming up. What's
Yeah.
your point of view on that? Because it's uphill, it's downhill. Does it suit the specialist better, or maybe an GC contender? What's your
Yeah.
pick on that?
I don't know if I have ridden that climb before, maybe in Paris-Nice, but I think for sure Tadej is going to be strong everywhere. I guess obviously he lives there as well, so you have him as I think Remco is the favorite. He's climbing class. I do think maybe with the descent he might struggle, but mate, he's going to have reconned it so many times. I think Tadej obviously lives there, so he'll have a big advantage. But I don't think it's going to be like the out and out specialist like Kung or Bissiger. Sorry if it is Kung and Bissiger.
Okay. So you haven't seen the course, because I don't think in Paris-Nice they go up that side, they go up the other side. But you've probably gone down it. But if you were to guess, knowing that climb is about 8 kilometers at 6.5%, and then the rest of it is basically downhill, would you consider changing bikes, or would you do the whole thing on a time trial bike?
I think you'd stay in. The descent is not straight, is it? But there is a straight section across the top that's downhill. So um, I would say run a classified maybe, and then you can have like a little ring inside, but you can also keep like we use like 68s, because that's what they're for the descents. So I would go classified TT bike all the way. But keep a big chainring if you can.
68. I think I've only seen them. I never touched one of them. I never
Yeah, yeah.
used one of them. I am impressed.
They feel so good, man. They just like waft around.
So, you're quite coming from a cycling family. Is that correct?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you have a brother, correct?
Yep, yeah.
So what would you say? Is he as good as you? Is he better than you? Or is he following your footsteps? You keep an eye on him?
No chance he's better than me, mate. No chance.
That's a good answer. Clear answer.
No, he's really good. We follow him, and he's going under 23 with Israel, and hopefully we get to. I've never really raced him. I think we've done a few through like Wednesday night crits back in Wales, but I haven't really raced him properly. Put him in a barrier maybe.
So just
Of course.
listening to how you speak, and you've obviously been around the sport of cycling for a while. You've really looked into it, broken it down, you understand the different phases. There's quite a few other good Welsh cyclists, but I believe you came through the Welsh system with Darren Tudor. But how were you exposed to cycling in the first place?
My dad used to race just locally in a place called Shrewsbury, and there was a little like purpose-built cycling track around there, and that was like every Wednesday and I think every Sunday as well. So, and he went to the track a lot as well in Newport. So I was kind of like around it all the time. I think I learned how to ride a bike in Newport Track Centre. And then I have memories of like riding around the car park, and then when all the races were done, I was like to do like a lap with my dad and stuff around on the track when everyone's gone home and stuff. So it was kind of hard not to really, you know.
Josh, you have 3 more years with the team in Ineos Grenadiers, right? So that's a lot of time to develop into all different directions. What would be a result you want to achieve until then? Or what type of rider you want to be by, let's say, the end of 2027, in 3 years from now?
I don't know really. I want to win classics first for sure. And I want to win a monument by 2027. I mean, they're sick, man. Roubaix didn't go very well, but Flanders was good, and so for sure I want to win a monument, and I want to just win some bike races. You know, it's what I like, and it's cool when you win a road race, and you get to put your hands in the air, and it's always like a cool story when a TT, it doesn't matter how much you win it by, is ugly, you know, like skin suits tiny and the helmet's funny, and there's more class in a road race, eh?
So then that's easy, you know, with the power you have. If you leave him behind, let's say at 10K to go, they would need 3 entire teams to chase you. So the only challenge for you is to have that first initial 10 seconds gap, and then you're good as gold. So easy.
Hopefully.
Well, you have quite a bright future ahead of you. It was an honor to meet you, or to semi-meet you, virtually meet you, and kind of hear your story. We're rooting for you. I know that the Olympics is a very special thing. It was, at least for me, and we wish you all the best in that, and then the future, and can't wait to hopefully have you back in the future once you have a little bit more time and won some of those classics, those monuments that you're talking about. So thank you very much, Josh, for coming on the Odd Tandem today.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. There'll be loads more content popping up there, including more great interviews with top guests like Josh. Keep dropping your questions for us in the comments. And check our description below to find us on social media and Patreon to support the channel.